Hello there everyone, welcome back to the MaxTag HD YouTube channel. Today we are back with a brand new stream and we're back with a brand new show that I'm delighted to introduce to you guys and obviously get on the channel. Now obviously you already know what's happening. The F1 Chat, the Formula 1 Chat is finally here. So basically this show is pretty much just me and my guests reviewing the previous race and reacting to the previous race and previewing the upcoming race, which is actually this weekend. So, but yeah, these streams will be a little bit like a Wednesday or sort of Friday type of thing, and then another one. I don't know when it'll be, but I mean, everything's happening at the minute. But we have got Jeddah this weekend. We'll get into that. There's practice going on currently, so interesting. There was delay in free practice because of a fire, so that's fine. How much? Big up the Dugout Football channel. Big up to you guys. The Dugout Football channel. I'll be sure to check you out after the stream. But thank you for the subscribe. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please do make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and get me to 200 as quick as possible. And also click the like button to support me. And also, obviously, click the notification bell so you never miss a live or stream. We do, just a quick notice, we do not have Lewis Perry tonight, and maybe not on Grandpa Joe. However, we do have another one of the good guests, which has been a little bit of a late ask for him to come on, but I'm sure he'll be a good guest on this show as he does enjoy his Formula 1. It is Chris. How you doing, Chris?
So yeah, and I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Obviously, I'm a little bit tired this week, but I mean, aren't we all? But yeah, so let's get straight into it then. Obviously, the first race of the season was last weekend in Sakhir of Bahrain, and there is obviously below your screen. So look, I'm going to go through the qualifying first on the Saturday. So Charles Leclerc finished on pole position with Max Verstappen just behind him, which was very surprising, the margin that Charles Leclerc beat him by, because I feel like Ferrari and Charles Leclerc, but Ferrari mainly, that they've learned from their mistakes, especially from last season. They didn't have any fight, it didn't seem like, so everything just fell apart for them last season, and it's obvious that it's either they've built up now, or they had the updates and things before, but they wanted to wait till this season for the regulation changes so they can bring the car up, because obviously yes, there has been regulation changes. We'll go over them later on, but then Carlos Sainz obviously third to start off the second row with Sergio Perez alongside him. And then we obviously have Lewis Hamilton in P5. Didn't do so well, if we're very honest, with George Russell, the new Mercedes driver, finishing ninth. The ones that shocked me and probably most of us, including Chris, was not only the McLaren incident where they finished in the bottom 12, bottom 13, but Kevin Magnussen. I mean, what a welcome back. Kevin Magnussen obviously leaving in 2020 with Romain Grosjean. Obviously we know what happened with that. Won't go over it too much, but Magnussen obviously left in 2020, had a break, and has now come back in. Nikita Mazepin obviously being Russian and having relations to Russia, so he could not participate this season. It's quite sad, because it's sad that we can't see any more spins lately. But I mean, what can we do? But yeah, it was a big shock for me, especially to not only see Magnussen, also Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo up there. But Zhou, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Guan Yu Zhou in the other seat of the Alfa Romeo car has joined the sport and is now the first Chinese driver to join Formula One. But Chris, obviously, I know you've probably watched the qualifying. So, what did you make of the performance, especially from like McLaren and all the stuff that Haas have done? Because obviously Haas have improved a lot considering they got 7th in qualifying, and then 5th in the actual race, and now McLaren have just almost depleted. So, what was your thoughts on qualifying? I mean, we'll get onto the race in a minute, but what was your thoughts on qualifying and the little bit of slip ups?
I would say qualifying was very interesting, wasn't it? Intriguing. But I mean, most people probably thought it was going to be probably the same old teams who are battling for the top and the middle of the grid, etc. But it didn't work out that way, and
Clearly,
it didn't work out that way. Especially seeing the Hearts in qualifying 3, which sent everyone into bloody. Everyone would have thought they would be in Narnia world when they saw that. A bloody Hearts in qualifying 3, but yeah, McLaren. I think all Mercedes power engines are struggling at the moment, aren't they? You got McLaren, you got Aston Martin, and you got the big duns themselves, Mercedes. To be fair, I do think it's probably down to lack of preparation for this year because we know what happened last year, where Mercedes and Red Bull fighting 10 ton with each other right to the very end, and that's probably affected their preparation for the season. Especially if you look at Ferrari. Ferrari had this prepared in 2020, where in 2020 they had absolutely had a downhill season where I finished behind the ice racing point, Renault, McLaren as well, and of course Mercedes and Red Bull. And I just think it probably is a surprise with Ferrari, but at the same time probably isn't because they're the most prepared for this new regulations and these new changes. So, and I thought they were always going to be strong, in my opinion. Obviously not like what we've seen so far, but I did expect them to be like up there with Mercedes and Red Bull because I thought, but McLaren, I don't know what's happened to them, honestly, especially with the driver pairing they've got in Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. So it's a very interesting one, like what's happening with them. I do think it's probably down to preparation for 2022, in my personal opinion. Because I think, to end it on that, I do think the Ferrari engine cards have developed more. Haas have developed, as you would probably expect. Because they didn't want to be like stinting the pace out last season, like they did with Schumacher, Mazepin. Wasn't down to Schumacher though. Mazepin just wasn't a good enough second driver, in my opinion. And now Schumacher has got that in Magnussen, who is well experienced in F1. And then it's one of them, and it's probably not a surprise to see Magnussen in Q3, especially with these developed cars we've got. Because Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, and Haas seem to be the winners at the moment in 2022 to just start the season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Ferrari. I mean, it's like they've taken a break. It's like they've taken about a year's break and just like, right, I'm taking a gap here. I'll be back next time. I'll be back in 2022, and that's exactly what happened. Really, I mean, also Tsunoda was another surprise for me, getting up to 8th in the race, as you can see below. Obviously the issues haven't been the mechanical issues have been surrounding Formula One at the minute, and we definitely saw that in the race. It is fair to say, the new number one, or well, the first driver in a while to wear the number one on the car, Max Verstappen, didn't really do it well, represent it well in the first race with a DNF. Sergio Perez, I shouldn't have really. I should have put him as a DNF, but I don't know. It counts on here as saying that he didn't DNF. It was just 18th, but I mean, we'll move with that one.
I mean, it was the final. It was the final lap, wasn't it? So I don't think it would matter.
Yeah,
who's DNF
it wouldn't really matter, would it? It'd probably take him about 2 minutes. 2 minutes anyway to get around the track. But yeah, so I mean, the Ferrari, they've improved. Haas have improved. Haas have gone quite far up in the R&D trees and upgrades. As far as we're concerned, the chassis changed for them. Their powertrain departments got a little bit of adjustment. So I think they've Ferrari's obviously left the upgrades to this season, and then Haas have just thought, right, okay, we've got Kev back, and we've got Mick Schumacher. We need to try and build on this, but how are we going to do that? And then they've obviously gone on to, obviously what they've done, which is very impressive from the sense that they've got a car up to 5th. I wasn't even expecting a 10th from them, and that's saying something. But I mean, it's one of those where we just look at it and say, well, that was an absolute abomination of a qualifying, especially from a couple of very well-known drivers. I want to talk about Lewis Hamilton at the minute, with all the controversy around him and Max Verstappen. Both of them, obviously, tusslers for the championship last season. Obviously, a very controversial victory from Verstappen, but nonetheless a victory. They weren't going to overturn it anyway unless there was something major happening. Because there was no point doing one lap. There was no point. But I mean, we can't do anything about it now. That's in the past. The past is in the past, as Elsa would say. But yeah, I mean, Verstappen obviously out-qualified and out-practiced today by Charles Leclerc in practice 1 especially. Don't know practice 2 yet because I haven't looked because it was delayed. But Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton obviously going to be the favourites to win the championship this season. But I do see after the first race, Charles Leclerc might actually give them a bit of a battle. Carlos Sainz also. Valtteri Bottas, I'm not too sure about at the minute because obviously he isn't the Alfa Romeo, but to go up to 6th and qualify right behind your teammate or former teammate, I beg your pardon, is quite the mark. In obviously a new car, and you've not had much experience driving a car, obviously that slower than yours. But I mean, everyone's tried to make upgrades this season, considering the regulation changes. Lewis Hamilton's not been the best this season at the minute. He was given a bit of complaint about the car in pre-season testing. I'm sure everyone would probably have heard that. Verstappen was like, nah, Hamilton got lucky to win 7. And I was like, okay. A bit arrogant there, but all right, we'll move on that. But I mean, we've got to focus on the teams that didn't do well last season, because if they didn't do well last season, they're obviously going to try and improve this season. And it's fair to say Charles Leclerc and Ferrari and also Haas kind of have improved a lot. So Alpines are obviously still up there. They're still like P10-ish, roundabout there. Pierre Gasly was finished in 10th in qualifying. But the fastest lap from Charles Leclerc, 1:30.558, with Verstappen 1:30.681. That's about what? I want to say a tenth, maybe one.
I would say
One
10
one
yeah.
137 137 one what? Yeah, 137 tenths. I mean, that's fine margins if we think about it in Formula One. But I mean, either way, Verstappen only beat Sainz by six thousandths. So I mean, what can we do? But I mean, Q1 and Q2 are obviously one of those two of those sessions where you have to get used to the car in the session, and then obviously keep yourself safe without having too much trouble. But and then Q3 is just one of those where you have to get the best time as possible. And Charles Leclerc obviously battling as hard as he could. You could see how much if anyone was actually carefully watching it, you could actually see how much power he was putting behind the car just to get over the line quicker. He was out of breath as well as he went into turn one, which was, I mean, it was good. It was good to see because he put a lot of effort into it. But I mean, it's kind of sad that Lewis wasn't at the top. But I mean, what can we do? But then again, onto the race. It's one of those races where I think Charles Leclerc just thought, right, if I get through the first lap perfectly, I should be all right. There was a couple of drivers, if not only one, that made. Yeah, there was two drivers that made two pit stops. Excuse me, that was Pierre Gasly and Mick Schumacher. Everyone else made 3 stops, apart from Max Verstappen, who made 4. Weirdly, I don't know why he made 4, but then again, we have to leave out the questions for Red Bull at the minute because they've obviously got a lot on their shoulders at the minute. But obviously, as you can see at the bottom, the results are there. Charles Leclerc finishing in pole position. Well, first. Carlos Sainz in second, as Verstappen could not keep his car intact. He was complaining quite a bit about it as well throughout the race, I noticed. And then obviously Lewis Hamilton snapped his third, but as said by the title of the stream, as it was a very late smash and grab for Lewis. He was lucky in that sense to get the third place. But I mean, Chris, I mean, apart from maybe Zhou, actually, yeah, Zhou. He first season in the motorsport, he got P10. P10. I mean, we've got to acknowledge how much effort Haas and Ferrari have put into this season, and obviously Alfa Romeo. That obviously Bottas getting up to 6th where he qualified, but Guan Yu Zhou, I mean, great effort from him. Schumacher, great effort from him. Albon's come back into the sport for Williams, but obviously reacting on the race, there was 2, if not 3, major blows to Red Bull with mechanical and technical issues right near the end of the race. Verstappen was complaining about, I don't exactly know what it was. It might have been the steering or something along the lines of.
No, it was battery. Well, Max Verstappen said it was battery, but then his team said it was something else.
Yeah,
and because Verstappen did feel the battery was running out and the fuel was running out, he did say that, but his team obviously thought something else, saying that's not the problem. And,
I mean,
I would say we saw when he sounded like he was crying, wasn't he? When he dropped back, and he acted like it was the last race of the season. Video. I mean, calm down. It's only the first race.
But I mean, obviously, like I literally was watching it and then saw him back down the back around the corner to go down the back straight, around the penultimate corner, and then it's like literally across the back straight, and then he, halfway down the back straight, it's just like, and then just started slowing down. I was like, hold the phone, what's going on? And then they said he was just iron, so I was like, well, that's great for Lewis, but what is the actual problem? Because I've got like five different
and we do
on this.
And I will say, we shouldn't be shocked by seeing DNFs either, because they argue cards, they argue radiations, and it would have been remarkable if we had a remarkable 20 cards finishing, but that's not always the case in F1.
I cannot remember the last time that actually happened. Every time it's like I don't know why. I honestly don't know why. But it's every time there's like 10 laps to go in a race and no one's out. No one is out. And then with 5 laps to go, someone goes out. It's like, what?
Commentators curse, isn't it?
Yeah.
The commentators were like, we could have all 20 cards finishing. And I thought straight away, well done, you chinched that.
Yeah. I mean, every time I commentate, it's like in football and rugby and everything. Oh, there's gonna have to be something special here. For I was watching. Well, I was obviously at the Hull KR versus Hull FC game in I think it was 2020, if not start 2021. They said I watched it back when I got home. I watched the highlights back on the Sunday night. I'm pretty sure. No, it was Friday night actually. Friday night. And they said there's going to have to be a wonder play from Hull Kingston Rovers, and then I bet Hull FC was just like, well, you've to there now, you just says nah, and then obviously Jimmy Kinehorse, what a legend, who puts it over the line. But I mean, commentators' curse is a real bitch at this point. So I mean, we have to say, well, it's happened. We can't do much about it. There's a lot of reliability issues going on,
and it's going to happen. It's going to happen to other teams as well in the upcoming races. So it's not just going to be Red Bull.
I guarantee it's going to happen to Mercedes at some point. It's got to. There's no doubt
with the pace they're showing.
Mrs. P, have a great stream. I'll be watching your stream later, Mrs. P. Don't you worry, I'll be on there already. I've got my reminder on. Go check Mrs. P out after this stream. She's a massive, massive legend, and I look forward to her Crash Bandicoot stream later on. He's only just getting into the YouTube algorithm at the minute, so go give her a subscribe. I'll drop the link in the chat soon enough, near the end of the stream. Got to head off. Big up Mrs. P. Thank you for hitting that like button. Also, she has hit that subscribe button, so please make sure you do hit that subscribe button as well as the like button. Thank you, Mrs. P. And we'll. I mean, that'll be great if I can get to 200 before my birthday, especially. But yeah, big up Mrs. P. I'll see you later. And Rich says, I don't follow F1, but it's good to see another team being competitive. Yeah, I mean, Ferrari, obviously, we knew that they were going to have to bounce back this season. It wasn't going to be the easiest ride, and they've pulled through it, especially with Verstappen right behind Leclerc. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone watched the race. As soon as there's 5 red lights went out, I can't even speak today. You can already tell I'm knackered. But as I'm pretty much every F1 fan that watched the race, either in Bahrain itself or on TV, you could see that as soon as those 5 red lights went out, Leclerc set off and then cut off Max Verstappen. He cut him off like mad. It was no.
That's what you have to do.
That is access denied from a vault. That is like, as soon as he cut him off, I was like, yes, get in. But then I saw Hamilton was like, excuse Hamilton, this is your chance. Fucking get up the grid, you idiot. But I mean, Leclerc obviously he's a good driver. The Monaco man, as I call him. The Monaco monster is what I call him. But I mean, the the way he performed in that race was great. It was outstanding the way. I mean, I don't know whether to say dominated it.
He dominated most of the race, I would say. Apart
He dominated the
from
vast
the times where
majority of it, but
where he had that moment with Verstappen where they both overtook each other and going down the straight across the finishing line. The power that both of them were doing that. Max Verstappen when he broke as well, it's just mental. When he broke into that first corner.
yeah,
I mean that's typical Max Verstappen though, to be fair. He always seems to it's like no time to die attitude. That's what it is. It's like he just does for it. A bit like Ayrton Senna. Obviously, I don't know. It was before our lifetimes, but
rest in peace.
But Ayrton Senna just obviously went for it, didn't they? Putting his life at risk every driver does. To be fair, in F1.
I mean, you have to put. If you don't take the risk, you've got no hope, really. If you, all I say every time I either play a football game, watch a rugby game, or watch an F1 race, or commentate on something, or do a watch along for something, I always say, if you don't take the risk, you're not going to get anywhere. Take the risk, or there's nothing to look at.
Daniel Ricciardo's one of the best at it as well. He always prays as well. But it's perfect for him because he gets the move done, even though he does pray, But I think, like you said, you have to take that risk at the end of the day. I think that all drivers do it, all the champions do it as well.
Yeah, I do want to ask this one question because it's on my mind quite frequently now. Will we see another shoey on the podium from Daniel Ricciardo? Will we see the Aussie players didgeridoo and drink from his little shoe this season?
Well, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good so far, does it? For that to happen.
No. I mean, obviously, we can't judge off the first race.
It's still early, though, isn't it, in the season? I mean, I still think he can all change. People getting hyped about Ferrari, thinking they're back. We still need to see the next upcoming races to see if they're still at it, Ferrari and other teams as well. Because I still think we know what Mercedes are like. I still think they've got a plan up their sleeve. I mean, I'd be shocked if they don't have a plan and they do continue to struggle for the whole season. But I think Mercedes, at some point in the season, will get back, in my opinion, to near the top.
Yeah. I mean, we can't judge from the first race of the season, obviously, but I mean, there's some things we have to look at.
The 2019 season, Ferrari. I think Charles Leclerc was on pole a lot of times, wasn't he, in qualifying, and then he had problems in some races as well. And that was like earlier in the season of that 2019 season. I mean, if Charles Leclerc did hold on to win them races, he probably would have put a challenge in on Lewis Hamilton for that title in 2019. But of course, Sebastian Vettel was there as well. When he was on pole, and it's like I said, this early first race of the season. We've seen it all before with Ferrari, unfortunately, where they've done well early, start the season off well, and then drop off second half of the season. And I don't want it to be like that though. I do think Ferraris do look very strong, and do look like they've done a challenge. Well, chance for the title, both titles. It's just all about that other team where I still think that other team will be Red Bull, despite their problem in Bahrain. I still think they'll come back and bounce back on it. They may bounce back this weekend, who knows. But like I said, I still think the three teams are still Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes. And I do think Mercedes are obviously going to be... They are going to struggle, in my opinion, to probably retain that Constructors' Championship. But like I said, it's still early and it can all change. It just tastes a DNF this is test of DNF from both Ferraris and Mercedes probably in the mix then.
I mean, we don't. We obviously we never know what's going to happen in Formula One. It's obviously as unpredictable as any other sport in the world at this moment in time. But we've got to look at it in the sense that Ferrari have improved, Haas have improved, Mercedes have tried to improve, but it ended up downgrading a little bit, just a little bit. Verstappen and Perez in the Red Bulls have not had the greatest starts of the season, let's be honest. But I'm sure Verstappen will pick it up this weekend. Obviously, being topped again by Charles Leclerc in practice 1, and I think practice 2 as well. But
I think Verstappen was quicker in practice 2. Last time I checked, I might be one though. But
Saudi Grand Prix to go ahead despite missile attack at nearby oil field. Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was told about that as well.
A missile attack? Why the...
It was 12... I think it was 12 miles away from the circuit.
Jesus Christ. Missile attack. Why is there a missile... I'm not even going to bother asking questions.
It's very hard to... it's very hard
is
to
that Putin's missile or...
I mean, it is politics and all that, isn't it, unfortunately? And I do think the eyes of Saudi Arabia and Qatar will be on the F1 calendar this season. It's most likely going to be to replace Russia. But Qatar and Saudi Arabia, it's simple way why they're on the calendar. It just brings in money for them. The oil money and there's nothing you can do really. Don't get me wrong, Saudi Arabia is a nice track, to be fair. It is a nice track.
Obviously a little bit confusing last season. It got a little bit confusing last season, we don't talk about that anymore.
It was carnage, to be fair. With what happened.
I mean, the thing I noticed, we got loads of red flags last season. Absolutely loads. So let's just hope that doesn't happen again.
I remember F2 before that, F1 race. F2 kept on stopping mostly every lap, where there was a red flag or a safety car, kept on stopping, and they even had doubts there, didn't they? When after the F2 race, I think a few of the drivers had to go to get put in the ambulance as well, and we had doubts, and I thought, I'm very nervous for this race, F1 race. It's going to be carnage, in my opinion. And I was mythic worlds predicting it would be Verstappen and Hamilton, probably to have carnage then on track. No, them two.
I mean, it's obviously going to be Verstappen and Hamilton going at it, but I mean, Charles Leclerc is joining the party this season, so we'll have to see what happens there.
That looks promising, doesn't it? Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. I think that is probably most likely going to be the title race in Drivers' Championship with the way Mercedes have started. And I think that showed in the first race as well, where they had that moment in the first corner where I was at with Charles Leclerc, I was like, don't turn. Don't turn, because you know what Max Verstappen's like. Max Verstappen will just quick and cut that overtake away from Charles Leclerc. But Charles Leclerc, luckily, going into the second corner onto the straight, had that DRS advantage. Charles Leclerc to get the move back on him, and it was like that for a couple of laps until Charles Leclerc won away and won the race.
I'm gonna say this comment real quick. Big up Max Side and big up Chris. We're both well. Big up the Hall End podcast as well. Go give them a subscribe. They will be doing content as soon as possible. I hope they'll probably be doing some next season, most likely, because I don't think there's any point doing it now. But yeah, we're both well. Hope you're all well too. I do have a quick question, Chris. What is your favourite overtake to do in Formula One because I'm torn between two. I'm not going to say what they are yet, but which move do you prefer? What move would you go for? So let's say you are in Bahrain, either down the back straight or the can't remember which straight it is now. There's this long straight. I can't remember what it is unless I'm just chatting about.
I think that's one of the DRS zones, isn't it? Where after that turn, I think it's after turn 9 where it is a horrible place to brake. Where
that's the one I was looking for. Turn 4. Turn 4 at Bahrain.
That's it.
Yeah. So, what is your favorite move? Like, what is your favorite overtake you've either seen or just want to do?
I would say DRS straight, like where don't cross the line to compete another lap, but then at the same time you have that DRS, and then all of a sudden the pilot who you just overtook will end up braking into the first corner, and I'm definitely one of them people who like to brake. Yeah, I just go for it. I just go for it, and obviously keep it clean. I do keep it clean, but
obviously
I'm not gonna be like a master stopper and just end up turning just turn left all of a sudden.
You're not going to do a Silverstone. Let's just say that.
Yeah, not like that. They're down to pretty cops corner and all that. Oh.
Let's hope that doesn't happen again, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of racial abuse going on again. But I do have to admit, my favorite move is either like full on round the outside, obviously turn 4, that particular corner as well, either right round the outside, or it's either that or it's one of those moves where you just have to try it at least once at that corner. The switchback is probably my favorite move, because not only does it catch the other driver off guard, but it also gives you a better exit out of the corner off the apex, because the apex of the corner, the exit is crucial in this sport.
And that showed, didn't it, in with Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, where Verstappen did that into the first corner and was ahead, but Charles Leclerc kind of done the switch back and got a good exit where he had that advantage at the DRS as well, like I said before.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the reason why the switchback's probably my favorite move, is my favorite move, is just because it just gives you so much more confidence in a corner. For me, it gives you so much more confidence in a corner. I've done it on the Formula One game multiple times. It's either around the outside, or it's around the outside and then switch back onto the inside just to get a good exit off the apex. Because, as I said, apex, the most crucial part of the corner. Obviously, the braking distance and the braking zone of that corner is vital for obviously getting round the corner without crashing into the barrier. But the switchback is just probably the best move ever, in my opinion. And obviously that's my personal opinion. Obviously, everyone else will have their own opinions, but the switchback for me is just one of those moves where it just gives you so much more like relaxation and satisfaction when you got the move done. So you go try and go inside, then you go around the outside, and then cut back on the inside, and they end up either locking up, going wide, which is actually what happened on my Formula One career mode about 2 days ago. Bottas went wide. I did the switch back on him, and then everyone else got pretty much.
Yeah, always helps, isn't it? When the car door's wide, and then you're on his pretty bad side.
But I mean, it's one of those. The switchback is obviously probably the most. I don't know whether it's the most used, but it's probably the most efficient one, in my opinion, in Formula One.
Yeah,
it's either that or it's just one of those.
All the champions have probably done it
every time I'm on career mode, every single time, it's only me that does. It's hardly ever not only me that does the switchback, because I do the switchback, but most of the time there's only like 5 times they do it in a race. The AI do it in a race, like it's all the time. It's constant waiting till the DRS comes up, and it's like, "Ooh, hello, I'm now on your ass." But I mean, it's one of those.
it's hard to do it in monitor.
I mean, yeah. There's hardly even any bloody DRS moments in their zones, really. But
You
I
have to
mean,
play it, don't you? You have to
yeah,
play it at times. Try and squeeze in.
yeah. I mean, but yeah. So we've obviously seen the race. Chris, your full final thoughts then on the race of the Bahrain Grand Prix? Obviously, not the best result, obviously, for many drivers, including world champion. But yay,
Yeah,
yay,
yeah.
and you're going down apparently because you get battered everywhere you go, apart from when you go
Good
to Manchester
response.
United. Apart from when you go to Old Trafford, you get battered. But big up Mella, big up Mella. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. I do hope Watford stay up, but then I kind of don't. But I mean, we move. But yeah, Chris, your final thoughts on the Bahrain Grand Prix? Obviously, not good results for many, but massive shock from obviously Haas, but a couple of others as well. But what are your overall opinions, and could this stay the same with obviously Zhou performing well, Magnussen performing well, and everyone else getting into the rhythm a little bit, with Tsunoda obviously finishing 8th as well, which is mad.
I mean, to be fair, I thought before the race we probably wouldn't see surprises because it's new cars, new radiations. Probably not, obviously, not the surprises we saw with McLaren and the Hearts as well. You probably expected them to be the other way around. Haas near the bottom, McLaren top 10. I mean, I'm not shocked by Bottas, where I thought Bottas would always do well. I always thought Bottas would always do well because he did get criticised, constructive criticism for not chancing Lewis Hamilton, but at the end of the day, he was a good number 2 driver, and he was one of the main reasons why Mercedes won that many titles. So we need to put it into perspective there. But going into it, everyone thought Ferrari got strong, didn't they? Had the powerful engine from Tetson, had the quicker engine. Red Bull, it's not. I mean, Red Bull. I mean, it was very shocking to see both of them get DNFs because Red Bull they're normally spot on, really, and they do get the odd one in and there, but so does every team. But yeah, Alpine was as I expected. Them two will always going to be consistent top 10. But I thought Tsunoda and Guan Yu Zhou were probably, and Tim Magnussen were my main surprises for me. They were my main surprises. Yuki Tsunoda, it's bid season for him because he's one of these drivers who's hoping to stay at a Red Bull seat. I don't think he's done enough to stay at a Red Bull seat. But he needs to worry about his AlphaTauri seat as well at the same time. Because Red Bull will be looking at Alex Albon if he does well at Williams, put him back in at AlphaTauri. So, and but yeah, it was intriguing, very intriguing for me, very intriguing Grand Prix, and very unpredictable as well. I mean, he sat through the whole race, he still didn't know what was going to happen, despite Charles Leclerc having that comfortable lead at times. And I always thought I was still waiting for one DNF at Yates, and it did happen. I mean, strange way to happen with the fire in the back of the car up her dad's, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that was
I
kind
did,
of sad, but I mean, what can you
but
do?
I did
What can you
think.
do?
I mean, I think it will bring. I think it's obviously brought more people into F1 this season with obviously what happened last season, and I think it will bring more fans in now, especially with a surprising result in Bahrain, which we wouldn't predicted a couple of months ago, should we say. After Abu Dhabi, we would have thought Mercedes or Red Bull don't be at it again, but Ferrari came on, so it's attracting more F1 audience now, and I've only seen I don't know if you're watching on Sky Sports F1, but we have seen obviously you pundit as well. Can't remember her name. It was a woman. It was a woman who went through Lewis Hamilton, who's now on the grid as well. I know she was a motorsport driver herself, so it's what I think the new cars and new regulations will obviously attract more, in my opinion. But we do need to see what happens with the remaining of the season, because we could be in halfway through the season and we could be talking about a Ferrari domination already, and same Ferrari back, and apparently he's meant to bring closer racing. Has it seen that? It has at times, but it's not quite there yet with closer racing. Yeah, because we've seen some cars have a bit that already. So, but we still got the remainder of the season to do. So it can all change in any way for me.
Yeah,
Because no doubt, I think Mercedes for me will still win a race, in my opinion.
yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a major downfall.
No, it won't be too major, but I mean, we'll see. I do want to talk quickly about the cars that they've obviously released. Obviously, we know that the different types of cars, but if we just see here, the type of car that especially Mercedes have put out. So they've obviously the whole group put out. So obviously Mercedes going back to the original silver arrows. I prefer the black, if I'm honest. Just looks a lot more clean and smooth, in my opinion. But obviously, going back to the silver arrows.
Let's not play Mercedes downfall on the pretty either. It's all down to the engine, obviously, for me. So it's not be what
yeah,
the
they've gone back
colour
to
is.
the silver from 2019. That was the last time they had it, apart from the start of 2020 season. And then they switched. Obviously, I think the biggest thing you can probably see, three of the things you can probably see the biggest option is the side pods, mostly. They've obviously lowered the car a lot more, which is interesting because it's 3-dimensional. Which is, I do prefer the old side pods really, but I mean, they've tried something new this year. And it does look like it still does look like a decent car. Don't get me wrong, it still does look like a decent car, and it still will perform. Hopefully, fingers crossed for me. But I mean, I don't see why they done that. I will look into that for next episode, I'm sure, next week. But also other little tweaks and stuff they've put on. Obviously, you can see how massive the end plates are on the front wing. There's something else. There's many things they've done to the cars this year, including obviously the wheel covers. It's obviously now harder for pit stops to be 1.8 seconds. Red Bull. It's obviously harder for 1.8 second pit stops now because of how well they're made. Obviously, what we could see them as mud guards, they're not mud guards. I think it's they're like traction devices. or something along the lines of. I don't exactly know the name, but
They
they
are.
did say on the at the start of the Grand Prix there was these. It was like a device thing going over the wheels just to
I
do a
think.
special deed. So I don't know whether you know anything about it, Chris, but
I
or
think the
anything more.
wheel covers what you see on the cards now. I think they are there to stop getting or getting just basically getting dirt like on the tires, and it does kind of stop that. But at the same time, you still got the other side. You still got the other side of the tire where if you door wide in the 12, for example, you don't get dirt on the tire, and it's one of them. But it stops. I think it's there to stop things that are on track that we don't know about, like affecting the tire basically, and then like trying then into the tire. So I think that's what it's there for. But
Yeah, I
it
mean they
does
did
look
say it
weird.
was like a device. I'm
It
pretty
does
sure
look
they
weird
did
when
say it
you
was like
see
a
it.
device, but I forgot what for. And then obviously another thing, it's not too visible, but it's definitely visible enough for probably most of us all to recognise. The rear wing has had a slight change. The rear wing has been lifted slightly on the back end of it, just to I think what they said was to increase the height of the air coming off the car. Obviously, it gives the car a little bit more. I wouldn't say. Well, I don't know really. I don't know whether it'd give them more chance of a speedy getaway, but it's definitely been. So it gives more of a volume of the air behind the car.
Yeah,
But I
because
mean,
yeah,
the car. It's just an F1 car. I mean, it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it's fucking quick. As long as it still goes 300 kilometers an hour, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Just as long as these two in the background can get it going and get it up to where it needs to be.
I thought
But
you were on about the two women.
of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. We don't do that yet. They're not that bad. But obviously there's different changes to the car, and they're obviously trying something new this year. I mean, it doesn't look like a bad car. It just looks a little bit less attractive than the last one. But I mean, they've changed it. I couldn't care what to, as long as it goes quick. As
I
long as
mean,
it's a fast car, then I don't care.
Mercedes. I think Mercedes were always silver, though, weren't they, when they first came in?
Yeah,
But I actually like the old black. It looked more cleaner.
yeah. See, I like the
And
I like the black because it looked a little bit more smooth. But let me stop showing that real quick.
but you
But
could
I like
say,
the black because it looked a lot more smooth, in my opinion. It looked more like a poacher, if you will. It looked more prolific. But I mean, obviously, the Silver Arrows, Mercedes Arrows are the nickname. The Silver Arrows will always be the nickname. But I mean, I don't know
yeah,
why
I
the
don't
black
think they would
was
care
was out.
if they were near the top. Well, if they were at the top and they went on to win the championship and the race, I think at the moment they'll snap your hand off for that.
Yeah, I mean, the black, I don't really know what. Apart, my dad was complaining it was about Black Lives Matter. I don't know, to be honest. I couldn't tell you, but
It
it was
was
it
in
was most likely something to do with that. I thought so.
20
I mean,
the port in 2020, didn't they?
yeah, it was like halfway through. I think it was like I want to say like a fifth way through the season, just to like,
I think
hello, we've introduced this now.
I think Lewis Hamilton was the one who was the biggest.
Yeah,
That was his idea. So
yeah.
it's
I mean,
fair
I don't
enough.
blame him. I don't blame him. Um, but I mean, there's that. We have obviously the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, one to forget for Red Bull, one to remember for Ferrari, 1-2 at the start of the season, which is a great confidence booster for them going into Jeddah this weekend. Hamilton obviously snatching third after late drama in the Red Bull pit garage. and obviously Haas doing massively well to get one of their cars up to P5. I mean, Magnussen's a good driver anyway, so, you know. On to the next part of the stream. Obviously, we've almost been going for an hour. If you are still watching, please make sure you have hit that like button and the subscribe button. Really help me out. But on to this weekend, obviously, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, obviously, we're qualifying. Jesus Christ, that's tomorrow. We're at practice currently. P1 has already taken place. Leclerc has topped it with Hamilton struggling in P14. It was in P1, I think. What FP1, I think. Unless that was the start of FP2. So Mercedes not having the best of times at the start of this season. Obviously, not having the best of times in practice. But when it comes to qualifying, I think that they've just brought it out a little bit better. But
Sam Budden.
something's happening. But now this may be a little bit hard to predict in the sense of all 20 cars. So I've narrowed it down to top 5 to top 10. So what I've decided is me and Chris and obviously the other guests that will no doubtly have on the panel next time around. But yeah, so what I've thought is we all give our predictions of 1st to 5th or 1st to 10th, or well, if you want to, if you already have it planned out, 1st to 20th. Recommended 1st to 5 or 1st to 10 because there's hardly any. I mean, just the points. Let's do the points. Who's going to finish in the points?
Top 10.
That's
Top 10 is the only one that matters. No offense.
Yeah, I mean, whoever finishes below the top 10, it's like there's no point. But for Jeddah, I mean, it's obviously another one of the quick tracks that we've got this season. So it's obviously Jeddah this weekend, and then it's Australia in 2 weeks' time, and then we're off to Imola in a fortnight after that. But I mean, Charles Leclerc leading the Formula One drivers' championship standings with 26 points, 18 points for Carlos Sainz, 15 for Hamilton. Russell has 12, 10 for Kevin Magnussen, which is massive for his push for as many points as he can get. Valtteri Bottas gets 8, 6 for Esteban Ocon. Yuki Tsunoda gets 4, 2 for Fernando Alonso, and Guan Yu Zhou gets his first point in his first race in Formula One, and that's obviously helped him out. So Ferrari at the top with 44 points in the constructors, Mercedes second with 27, Haas in P3 in the drivers constructors standings with 10 points, 9 points for Alfa Romeo, Alpine get 8 and 4 points for AlphaTauri. 7th to 10th is Aston Martin, Williams, McLaren, and then Red Bull at the bottom. So this race coming up, obviously in Jeddah, as we all know, as we've just been discussing. Top 10 for this one. We're going to start with qualifying, seeing as that's closer, because the race is irrelevant till Saturday after the qualifying's finished. Funny thing was Lewis Perry trying to watch the qualifying before the Hull versus Luton game. So we were literally sat in the West stand upper at the MKM Stadium, waiting for Hull Luton to kick off and waiting for the teams to come out. He got the qualifying on, and it was coming on, and then the teams were coming out, and he was like, "Oh, you're taking the mick." If you go onto my vlog, it'll literally like, "Oh," and then it'll literally have the little writing at the top. Lewis gets F1 qualifying on it as soon as the teams will come out. And then as soon as the announcer says the teams are coming out, he's like, "Oh, you're taking the mick." It was absolutely brilliant. But I mean, it's one of those. But with the performances, Chris, I'm obviously going to let you go first with your prediction. Obviously, you are the guest; you get more priority than me. But obviously top 10 is the only thing that needs. If you can do 20 by all means. You can do 20 if you want, but I'm not saying you have to.
Oh no, I'm doing top 10.
But top 10, what would your top 10 be for qualify? Let's start off with qualifying then. What would your top 10 be for qualifying in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia tomorrow afternoon? Or is it tomorrow afternoon? It's tomorrow afternoon at some point, I think. But
no, it's tomorrow evening.
oh, no
5
wonder it's on at
5 to
11
6
o'clock.
p.m. Well, 5 to 6 p.m. our time.
No wonder it's at like bloody 11 o'clock on Channel 4. Bloody shit. But yeah, what is your prediction for top 10 of qualifying?
I mean, I don't think it'd be any different to Bahrain, if I'm being honest with you. To the Bahrain qualifying, so I'll probably start. Well, I'll start with the easiest ones first, at the top, then go to the bottom. I'll say on pole will probably be Charles Leclerc then on pole.
Fair enough.
And then Max Verstappen second for me. I think it'll be the same as Bahrain. Carlos Sainz third. I do think it's done be the Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas usual top three from that season.
Yeah.
So I do think that'll be the top three. Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz. That's for qualifying, by the way. Bit of a spoil on my weights with it. But fourth place, done for Hamilton in fourth. I'm done Perez in fifth. George Russell in sixth. Because I do think that's going to be the top six, in my opinion, for the rest of the season. Like, not in that order, just in qualifying terms and the weights. And seventh, I'll probably do for Bottas. Do for Bottas in seventh. In eighth, Kevin Magnussen to continue his good momentum he's got at the moment. But his good start to season. I'm struggling on the McLarens. I'm sorry, but with what I saw in Bahrain, I think Lando Norris will squeak in, but I don't think Ricciardo will. And I think Fernando Alonso will take that spot in 10th.
Fair enough. So that is Chris's top 10 then. Obviously, Charles Leclerc topping pole again, topping qualifying for the second time in the second race of the season. Hold on a second. Chris, if you just want to either just talk something about either what your opinions will be on qualifying, what you think will like if Magnussen, or I don't know, just because I'm going to pop to Lou real quick. So, if you want to just talk about why you've said that top 10, then go for it. I'll be back in a minute. So, right back.
Yeah, I just think that'll be the top 10. I just think it'll be the same as Bahrain for me. Same as Bahrain, where I think it's done me like that early in the season for me. And it's done me like that early in the season where this probably done me the early pace setters, in my opinion. Probably what we didn't see for the rest of the season. But it might change from there, like halfway through the season. But yeah, done for that as my top 10, just due to I don't really see anything changing from Bahrain, in my opinion. I just think it'll be the same. I just think it'll be the same as it's probably gonna be like this probably in the first few races of the season. Then obviously not looking too far ahead, probably in the summer after the summer break. After the summer break it'll probably all change. Probably all change in terms of pecking order after the summer break, probably. As you probably done that more teams getting upgrades. One in the season. So but for me that will probably be the same top 10 for me. Probably for the first 3 races of the season, in my opinion, and I just think the ice of Aston Martin, the ice of Aston Martin, even McLaren, I still think they'll struggle. They'll still struggle, in my opinion, for this in these early stages of the season, and it all depends on the others as well. And I think the ice of Quan Cho and Mick Schumacher, or even you could even add Albon into that, will probably be the ones chancing to try and get into Q3, even in Cheddar, in my opinion, and even in the early races of the season as well. So I do think they'll be in it, but I do think obviously Esteban Ocon will be in around there as well. So I think Alpine for me are probably one of the most consistent teams I've probably seen over the years of getting consistent points finishes. So I wouldn't be shocked to see both Alpines, in fact, probably even getting the top 10 potentially, because it always seems to be one of them that gets into top 10 mostly everywhere, in my opinion. And Brave.
And there we go. So there you go. That is the full explanation. I'm sure you had a good time with Chris there, just to go over why he said his top 10. So on to my top 10 for qualifying then. I mean, I don't see it changing from Bahrain, like Chris said. So I'm going to start from P10 this time, to go backwards. I think P10 will be hard to think. I think it'll be Fernando Alonso getting in there. P9 will be Pierre Gasly. P8, Kevin Magnussen. P6. No, wait. Did I just say P8 or P7?
No, you said P8, didn't you?
I said P8. P7. I'm going to say Magnussen. Wait, no, did I just... I'm lost already, for fuck's sake.
You said Fernando Alonso 10. He said Perdazzi 9th. So you're on P8.
Right, so Gasly 10th. Wait.
No, you said Alonso 10th.
Alonso 10th, Gasly 9th.
Yeah. Then you said Magnussen.
8th, Kevin Magnussen. 7th, Valtteri Bottas. 6th, George Russell. 5th, Sergio Perez. 4th, Carlos Sainz. 3rd, Lewis Hamilton. 2nd, Max Verstappen. And 1st, on pole, Charles Leclerc. So both of us agree Charles Leclerc will get on pole. Verstappen as well, 2nd place after and bouncing back after that monstrosity in the Grand Prix last weekend of that failure. Reason I've gone with Hamilton 3rd is because I feel like he'll step up the pace this time in Jeddah. Obviously, Jeddah's a quick circuit, and he's very experienced.
Powerful track as well.
Yeah, and he's it's like it's half and half a street circuit and not. And he's obviously got more experience.
It's basically Azerbaijan and Singapore combined.
Yeah, it's got tight corners, but it's also got a little bit of straights in between. It's a little bit of a tussly one, but I've put him 3rd because I feel like he'll improve. Because obviously he got 5th last time, and I think Sergio Perez will drop off a little bit, and then Carlos Sainz, with Ferrari obviously being faster than any other car on track last time, I still think he'll drop off a little bit. Max Verstappen obviously staying in 2nd. There's no like option to say that he won't be there. Bottas I think he'll do what he did last time, but slightly drop off in a time. He'll drop off by like 700ths of a second. Magnussen, he'll keep up his form. He'll get his form from Bahrain, transfer it over to Jeddah, and be like, right, so Saudi Arabia, let's do this, and let's get a result. And he'll get into his position. Russell in P6, I believe I said him in. Yes, I did. No, he's P5, wasn't he?
No, it's P6.
P6. George Russell, P6. I feel that George will obviously improve from last time. He'll move up, but I do feel like he will stay outside the top 5 by just missing out on by like a tenth of a second maybe from Sergio Perez. Sainz, he's one of those drivers. He's always given me a bit of a giggle though, Carlos. He's a very good and very smooth operator.
For me.
Pierre Gasly, unlucky not to finish the last race. I think he'll keep doing what he does best. He'll move up to 9th by quite a bit, just a little bit. Fernando Alonso, he's done well since he came back from the Indy 500. He's come back into sport, and he looked like he's ready to go. So obviously trying to battle with Lewis Hamilton in Hungary last year to keep him behind.
Oh, missed out per Dadsy, haven't I?
Oh, dear.
RC8. No, RC8. Remove Lando Norris. Put per Dadsy in.
And then obviously, I mean, Norris will be my 11th, I think, if not 10th. Then Ricciardo will move up to 14th. But on to the race. Chris, I'm going to let you go first again. Prediction for, I mean, you can just do top 5 if you like. I don't mind. But I mean, top 10 will be a little bit better because it'll mean I can total the points up for either driver by the end of it if that outcome does happen. So
no, I'll do top 10.
Your predicted top 10 for the Grand Prix itself on Sunday evening.
This time, I'm going to start off from the bottom with 10th. I'm going to build it up slightly.
I thought you were going to say that I'm going to start this time with Max Verstappen.
No, 10th. I mean, 10th place. I'm going to go for Ocon.
I can see that happen, actually. It's not a bad shout. Ocon is obviously one of those drivers who's quite experienced. Obviously, not as experienced as others.
He's more better in the race.
He's one of those drivers that's not always consistent, but he's one that can shock you at some points.
So I done go for Ocon in 10th. In 9th, I'll probably go for. Oh, it's a tough one. Quite a tough one, I'd say.
It's always tougher to predict the race than it is qualifying, I feel.
Yeah, that's what I'll go for per Dadsy.
I feel like it's always harder to predict the outcome of the race than it is qualifying, because you've obviously got those pit stops as well, which make it a little bit more emphasised.
Yeah, very true. So I'm going to go for per Dadsy in 9th.
Fair enough.
In 8th, I'm going to go for Fernando Alonso in 8th.
Fair enough. Alonso, obviously. I mean, he's probably the most experienced driver, apart from Lewis Hamilton on that track. So I mean, he's not the worst, but he's not the best either. But I mean, he's still a good driver. He still is a good driver for his age. I mean, Alonso it's not a bad shout to put him there. So anyway, continue.
In 7th. Well, I am tempted actually to probably go for a DNF from one of the bid teams.
You've heard it here. You've heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. But who will it be? Find out in the next episode. I'm joking.
But you see who I probably missed out. But yeah, I'm on P7 now, so
Yeah.
P7. I'll go for Kevin Magnussen.
That's
in
where he qualified.
the Hearts. I think he will continue. I think we'll see the wides of the Hearts again, in my opinion. Especially when this track is powerful engine and it's very quick. I think that's just going to suit Ferrari engines even more with the pace they've been showing so far this season. So I've done for Magnussen 7th. In 6th, I've done for Valtteri Bottas, now for Mayo.
Fair enough.
And everyone's and now this is where everyone's on the desk who have put as DNF. Probably in the comments. So, but I don't know for Bottas in 6th. In 5th. Oh, that is hard. Yeah, I've done for Perez in 5th. As I still did this through in Red Bull, I done a bounce back. But that's right, in bounce back in some kind of form. In terms of just getting points on the board, in my opinion. So I'm going for Perez in 5th. In 4th, I'm going for. It's obviously torn between 2. Who to miss out on the podium and who to finish 4th. I think you can probably pretty much guess who the 2 are. because the first 2, the top 2, are obviously the obvious ones from what we saw this season. So I'm Sainz 4th. And I'm for Lewis Hamilton to snatch the podium place again. Like in Bahrain. Not in the same circumstances. I just think Lewis Hamilton's going to have something to prove. Like in my opinion, and continue. I think that's all you can do at the moment, and where you just finish as high as possible. Maybe forget about the top 2, in my opinion. Try and get podiums in and there. Because you still get a lot of points for it. Then that final podium place. So Dundee Hamilton 3rd, Sainz 4th, which could be controversial with what we seen at the start of the season. Because with the Ferrari obviously quicker than Mercedes at the moment. But it's Lewis Hamilton for me. It is Lewis Hamilton. I still think he gets the bets out of the car he's in. So Dundee Hamilton 3rd, Sainz 4th. And it's just all about who I predict to win and finish 2nd. I don't put it out there. It's between Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, obviously.
Obviously.
I haven't put Nick Latifi to win the weights, for example. So, but I'm going to go for Max Verstappen to win.
I was waiting for that. Not going to lie.
And Charles Leclerc to finish 2nd. Like I said, I just think Red Bull, they'll be so angry from what happened in Bahrain. They've got no one else to blame for that apart from themselves, in my opinion. With the 4 pit stops they had as well, this is very strange for me. I mean, it just shows that the last pit stop very won, in my opinion. I think Max Verstappen was on the hard tyre, on his 3rd pit stop. To put him on the hard tyres. and it didn't work for him. So they put him back on the. I'm not quite sure which one it was, medium or soft. It might have been soft because it might have been soft actually to try and get that cut down on Charles Leclerc, and then it all went downhill from there. But I just think Max Verstappen and Red Bull will be down to this Grand Prix with a point to prove from the disaster they had in Bahrain. And so I'm going to go for Max Verstappen to win the race. But I would not be shocked if Charles Leclerc does make it back-to-back wins. I just think it's that close between both Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, in my opinion, because they are, for me, the two runaway leaders at the moment. Even after race one, I know it's mental to say, but it just shows they are the runaways. I mean, Sainz could be up there as well, but Sainz is, I think you said it before, Sainz is just one of them, isn't he?
He's just one of them. He's just one of those.
And yeah, don't for George Russell, by the way, as a DNF.
Oh, there's something.
He's just had a struggling start. In my opinion, I can see it. When drivers have had a struggling start, they do tend to. It does tend to get even worse. After the race after. I'm not saying it's going to be worse for the whole season. I think George Russell will turn it around because, as I said before, when you were away, when we go into summer break, there's going to be even more upgrades, in my opinion. And then the pecking order will change a bit, in my opinion, once we're done the summer break. So that's what I think Mercedes will be looking at. I think they'll be looking at the British Grand Prix like last year, where they did their arms out, they did their arms out and did the muscles out and all that, and that to work, and it worked for them, didn't it? And it end up winning the race. Of course, controversial with the first lap with Hamilton and Verstappen, but at the end of the day, Hamilton still went on to win despite a 10-second time penalty for that incident as well. So, and it showed where you didn't it, and it showed where because we need to be honest. Last year, the first half of last year, it was all Red Bull for me. Red Bull seemed to be obviously the quicker car. I just think Mercedes do the chops out, in my opinion. It halfway through the season for me, and they turn it around and have a strong second half of the season. So that's where I think what Mercedes are looking at, in my opinion. But it doesn't, like I said, it still doesn't. It's not an excuse for the start of the season. It's still a good result for them in Bahrain with what they got at the moment in terms of the engine and car. In my opinion, it was still a good result for them. But in terms of overall, you do expect Mercedes to be up there, in my opinion. So that's why I put it down to. They always seem to you driver, a U team, they do seem to start off slowly, in my opinion. But then I think George Russell will learn. He's a young driver as well. He's a young driver, and he'll get even more mature, in my opinion, and he'll get even better for me.
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that, to be honest. Everything really is.
I know I waffled on there.
No, it's fine. The more chat, the better. Johnny TV says, "Big up Max Pal, and also big up to Chris. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, welcome to the channel, Chris. It's nice to finally have you on. Chris will be on here as much as he possibly can, obviously for the F1 show itself.
And yes, people get sick of me.
No. I mean, even if people get sick of you, I'll still invite you on anyway. You are now part of this chat. We've added you to the group chat on Insta, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But on to mine. I mean, I couldn't. I can't. It's hard to predict this, and really, I don't even want to know who wins this.
I wouldn't blame you
at
who
this
went
point.
to the top 5, to be fair.
I mean, don't. I just don't like predicting the race result, because I know as soon as I say someone's going to finish somewhere, I'm going to get it wrong immediately. But yeah, starting from 10th. I'm going to say Ocon. I'm going to say Ocon in P10. I do feel like he will have the strength to get some points, just not as many as he did last time. Then I'm going to go Kevin Magnussen in P9. I think that he obviously he'll still do well, but I think he might drop off this time in this race on his first race at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I mean, obviously it might be different, who knows, but I just feel like he might drop off from Bahrain. 8th, I'll probably go with Fernando Alonso. 7th, I'd go with Gasly. 6th, I'd go with Bottas. 5th, I'd go with Russell. 4th, shit. Oh shit, I forgot someone. Oh my days. Oh, have I?
I'm saying nothing.
4th. Perez. 3rd. I don't want to say it. I honestly don't. But I do think Hamilton will get 3rd again this time round. 2nd will be Charles Leclerc, and Max Verstappen, Super Max, will be victorious in
You have
Saudi
missed someone
Arabia,
out.
in Jeddah. And then I think you know who's going to be dropping off. Carlos Sainz will finish in P11 for me. He won't finish top 10, but he'll miss out by like marginal. The person to get a DNF, Nico Hülkenberg, is not the person. I just like saying his name, honestly. Person who'd go out for me, it's hard to pick, if I'm honest. I'm gonna have to go Nicholas Latifi. It's either him or Alex Albon. I don't know why. Alex Albon or Nicholas Latifi, or both. Don't know, but that's just my thoughts. I mean, I don't know why I've gone with that.
I think my DNF's probably more bolder than yours. Because I went for George Russell.
Yeah, I mean George. I mean, I don't know about him really at this point. Hold on. I'm going to try and get that clip up. Actually, I'm going to try and get that clip up. Hold on, let me get it up. I'm going to try and find the Nico Hulkenberg from Daniel Ricciardo thing. It's so funny, honestly. Right, share screen. It is probably the funniest thing I've ever watched. I don't even know. Oh yeah, this is funny as.
Daniel. I mean, he's a cool guy. He's genuine. He's fast. I think we have a very good relationship actually. I think we're both obviously quite mature.
I love it. I love it. Honestly, that is
Daniel
that is the
Ricciardo
best
seems to be the
ever.
funniest person on the grid, doesn't he?
That's why I love him. Honestly, he's the best. Not only because he's Australian, but he is the best driver ever. I
And
love it.
if
The
you've
way
seen it on the
Hulkenberg.
anthem,
Look, look
you've
at
seen it on the
Hulkenberg's
anthem
face.
before the start of the race. Everyone's without headphones on, and Daniel Ricciardo pops up with his headphones on. Only one with headphones.
Nigga, Hulkenberg. Oh shit! Don't do that. I did that, and I don't like that. I didn't like the way
I,
that looked. I don't like the way that looked. No, I am not a
I was
Nazi before
glad.
any of you, Judge. That was not
To be fair, I
intended.
was glad Ricciardo won the Italian Grand Prix that season because he had a slow start, didn't he, as well, to his McLaren career.
It's the it's the way it's the way Daniel says it. It's so fucking brilliant. I love it, honestly. Well, I just love Ricardo. He's probably my favorite driver, other than obviously the main men. But yeah, that's
I mean,
that. I think.
my favourite will always be Kimi Raikkonen.
Oh, he was an absolute beast. I look. Oh, did you? I don't know. I'm pretty sure you saw, but the livery they put on the final race in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Kimi Raikkonen will leave you alone now. I love it, honestly.
I think he's the most no nonsense driver ever. Like on the radio, the team radio used to pretty swear all the time.
I don't know what's going on at the moment. I really don't know what's going on in Jeddah at the minute.
Well, they said the race will still go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, FP2's been. It says it's supposed to go ahead, but it's nothing's live. So unless they're doing it under circumstances, then I don't know. But yeah, that has been the F1 Chat episode 1. It's been quite a long one, but I mean, the first episode's always going to be a long one. It might have been shorter, but it might have been longer if we had everyone on. But everyone else is busy.
It'd be even more longer.
It'd probably be even another like 20 minutes longer. We've probably reached 2 hours, but no, I mean, either way, I really enjoyed it. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, please make sure you have hit that subscribe button and that like button while turning the notification bell on so you never miss an upload or a stream. You can find me on Instagram, MaxTigerHD Official, on Twitter at MTHD_official, and obviously here. You can also find me on Munsey Talks or Fans Unleashed, as he's now renamed his channel, every Monday night to talk Premier League. And yeah, it's basically just reviewing the games and different options. But my socials are all down here, as you can see. Instagram, Twitter, obviously YouTube there. Chris, obviously, as you can tell by his name, that is his YouTube channel as well. So go give Chris a subscribe. I can't remember how many you're on at the minute. Hold on, let me have a look actually.
I think I was on 81, but obviously.
You have 82.
Wait, 82.
So you now have 80. No, wait. Is it 82 or 83? So it's 82. Last time I looked, it was 82. No, it's 83. Oh, shit.
Bloody hell.
Nice. But yeah, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button to me and Chris. And also make sure you hit that like button as well on the stream. But yeah, you can also find Chris on Instagram. Pretty sure. Wait, hold on. Let me try and find it on my story.
I think
this
it's
week at Chris_Welsh CUFC.
Yep, that's it.
And Chris Welsh on YouTube. But yeah, really appreciate you coming on to this, Chris. Chris will be on here
Absolute pleasure. No worries at all.
Chris will be on every F1 chat episode he can be on. Obviously, if he's busy, then obviously he won't be on there, of course. But he'll be on here as much as he can. I'm hoping. So, big up to him for taking his a bit of his time out to come on and do this. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed. Subscribe and get me. I mean, I appreciate all the support I've been getting recently. 174 subscribers now, so I really appreciate you all. But yeah, until then, until probably next Wednesday, if not, yeah, it'll probably be next Wednesday. That's maybe, well, that's the most likely date for it, for episode 2. But yeah, we'll see what happens in Jeddah. The question is, will Verstappen bounce back and get a victory, or will Charles Leclerc dominate in Saudi Arabia once again and kick his season off with another 26 points or 25? We'll have to see. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.